My name is Katrina, and I'll be our moderator today for this media availability. Mon nom est Katrina, je serai votre modératrice aujourd'hui. Thank you for joining us for today's media availability to provide an update on O Train Line 1 and bus operations. Merci de vous joindre à nous pour ce point de presse afin de faire le point sur les changements à la ligne 1 de l'O Train et le service d'autobus. As a reminder, the availability is available in either French or English. If you'd like interpretation, please click on the interpretation globe icon in the bottom menu and select your preferred language. Ce point de presse est disponible en français et en anglais, et si vous souhaitiez bénéficier d'une interprétation audio, cliquez sur l'icône du globe d'interprétation dans le menu du bas, puis sélectionnez la langue de votre choix. We'll start our media availability today with opening remarks from Interim General Manager of Transit Services, Troy Charter. Le point de presse aujourd'hui comprendra des remarques préliminaires de Troy Charter, directeur général par intérim Service de transport en commun. I'll pass things over to Troy now.
Thank you very much, Katrina. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. Je suis ici avec Sabrina Pazian, notre chef de la sécurité.
I'm here with Sabrina Pazian, OC Transport Chief Safety Officer, to provide an update on the progress to restore capacity on Line 1 and our work on strengthening our bus service delivery as well.
Line 1 service continues to operate at 3 to 4 minute frequency during peak periods. Our team continues to be at key stations during the busiest periods to support our customers. And with the snow that is expected this afternoon, we've worked with our maintainers, our transit group, as well as on lines 2 and 4 Transit Next to prepare for and be ready to respond as we need to. Currently, there are 21 vehicles available for service on Line 1, and we expect that this number will remain stable with some fluctuations due to other regular maintenance and inspection requirements. This means that customers can expect the same frequency of service next week. As I mentioned during the technical briefing and at last week's Transit Commission meeting, we continue to work through all 3 streams in our action plan to safely restore capacity on Line 1. In our first work stream, we continue to meet with RTG and Alstom and their experts. The technical information has been provided in these meetings and is being analyzed by OC Transpo as well as our independent experts. This information and discussions amongst the technical experts are needed to verify and validate the appropriateness of the short and medium-term plans proposed by RTG and Alstom. As part of the second work stream, RTG and Alstom are conducting further technical analysis and laboratory testing of the cartridge bearing assemblies, or CBAs as we sometimes refer to them. This is to gather additional important technical details and information. Investigations are also underway into possible enhanced containment measures. While this work is being done in parallel, the city's expectation remains that a root cause analysis will lead to a long-term solution that provides safe, stable service for our customers. I know that customers want to see immediate improvements in the service, but the work we're undertaking is complex and unfortunately cannot be rushed. We will restore the capacity on Line 1. We will be able to do so, but we'll do so when it's safe to do so. As a reminder, as I previously mentioned, I just want to remind everyone that lines 2 and 4 are not impacted by this issue, and the service continues to run reliably. I'll now take a few minutes to talk about strengthening our service on our bus service side. So for the week of February 8th to 14th, bus service delivery was on average just over 95%, and we had an average of 495 buses available for service every weekday. This is a slight decrease from the previous week, but the overall trend from the start of the year has bus availability improving, and I know that our customers want to see these improvements. We will see these improvements as we progress into the better weather and into the springtime season. The 2 areas that we've seen some strong progress is with our electric bus procurement program, as well as the recruitment of bus operators. When it comes to electric buses, last week, 4 new electric buses completed all of their inspections and commissioning, and they're now available for service. This is a big help in increasing the number of buses available for service, and we expect more to be on the road very, very soon. When it comes to recruitment, and I'm sure everyone's been seeing the we are hiring signs on all our buses and out in social media, it is working. We're seeing strong interest from prospective bus operators as well as mechanics. We currently have 46 operators in training, as well as 15 operators just graduated this past 2 weeks. More training courses are planned for this year. We have a target of 374 new trainees planned for bus operations this year. This will also help, obviously, with our reliability and keeping our service moving for our customers. So before I conclude, I do want to thank our customers for their patience as we work to increase the capacity on line 1 and strengthen our bus service delivery. I know it has impacted your day-to-day lives, and all of our team remains focused on making progress safely and quickly for each and every one of you. I'll now turn things back over to Katrina. Thank you.
Thank you, Troy. First on our list is Guy Kenville at CBC.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, great. Success. Okay. Thanks for your time today. Oh, put my camera on. Since you've been providing these regular weekly updates on bus and train reliability, one of the stats you've provided, or KPIs, is a breakdown of the reasons for why bus trips have been canceled, Troy. This is for you, Troy. And one thing that's popped out is the proportion of canceled or trips not delivered on bus that are attributed to operator availability, the proportion of those cases increasing from about mid-January to now. That category stood at about 15% as of mid-January, and more recently, according to the latest KPIs and the breakdown you provided today, it looks to be more like 40%. So I'm hoping you can walk us through why we're seeing a greater proportion of trips not happening due to that operator availability reason in recent weeks.
Okay, that's a good question. I'll start with the first part is when you look at, just from a statistical standpoint, we did make that decision several weeks ago to remove trips from our travel planner. So that customers aren't waiting for trips that we were unable to deliver. So we reduced our bus count. So by reducing our bus count, we reduced the percentage of trips that were attributed to undelivered. We reduced the number of undelivered trips as a result of bus services. Now we're still tracking that because we need to get our bus count back up to the 520, right? But as a proportion, we took those out, and that then increases the proportion of other undelivered trips. The other aspect to it is that we do need to keep up with our recruitment. Bus operators are a key point from our service delivery, but they also feed a lot of the positions within the organization in terms of these are the people that go to rail operator positions, our controller positions, even our supervisors. So we need to stay on top of the recruitment, and that's why we need to be very, very aggressive. So we need to get our bus operator recruitment numbers up. And then the other factor to that is included in the operator availability, and we see this more in the winter months than the summer months, is it links to traffic congestion and on-time performance. If you recall, several years ago, there was an increase. There was a change in law in which we need to provide mandated breaks every 4 hours for our operators, right? So if bus operators are running late because of traffic congestion, weather conditions, so that's why you see it more in the winter. If they're running late and we don't have an operator to fill in for that break, we need to give that operator that break. It's a legislative requirement to give them that break at that time. So that's why you do see that number go up, and it's it can be a challenge year round, but it's specifically harder in the winter when you deal with all those winter driving conditions and the increased traffic congestion. So that's the main reasons why you see that increase.
So in other words, the public shouldn't take away from that category that there's a problem at OC Transpo of bus operators calling in sick in greater numbers in recent weeks.
No, I mean, I have fully acknowledged we do need to stay on top of recruitment. We need more operators. That's a challenge for us, but no, it's not an issue with operators calling in sick and seeing an increase there. Our staff are very dedicated, and they want to provide the best service possible. So it's more of a function of the issues that I mentioned.
Thank you for indulging that side question. Proper follow-up. It struck me last week at Transit Committee, and it strikes me again today that there seems to be a missing partner at the table, literally speaking, which is RTG and Alstom not being available to the public so that we can hear directly, from them about the role they're playing in trying to improve the LRT situation right now. So will you commit, Troy, if you haven't already pursued this, will you commit today to inviting representatives from RTG and Alstom to join you next week for the next media availability so that we can hear from them too? I know they're busy, but they wear a big accountability hat on this too. Do you know?
Yeah. No, so yes, we did talk about this at the transit committee meeting, and what I committed to doing was having the ongoing dialogue and asking them to attend. And we've had that initial conversation with them. And while I can't commit to next week, the conversations that we've had is that they do want to come forward. They do want to talk to it. But at this point in time, it's a little bit too early for them to come forward because we're still doing all that analysis and the root cause and determining the path forward. So the last thing that and I'm speaking on their behalf at this point, but this is information that's been shared to me. The last thing they want to do is come forward and say it's still under investigation, still to be determined. They want to make sure that when they come, they have substantive answers to questions that are going to be posed, because rightfully so, there's valid questions that they need to answer. So, but they just want to make sure they come at the right time. So there is a desire to attend. I can't commit to next week, but I know that we're having those conversations, and the early indication is that they would welcome the opportunity.
Thank you. Next is Adam Boschme at CTV. Adam, I see you're off mute, but we can't hear you, unfortunately. I can move on to the next person, and I can come back to you, Adam, at the end if you want to try to leave and rejoin or test your audio from another device. So, prochainement, c'est Sébastien Pierrose, Le Droit.
Sébastien
Bonjour,
Pierrose,
Monsieur
Le Droit.
Charter.
Hello, Mr. Charter.
Ça fait maintenant un mois que
It's
les
been a
incidents
month
ont
now
commencé
since the
et on
start of this
dirait qu'il n'y a
situation,
toujours aucun
and
progrès.
it looks like there's no progress. There's nothing's changed over the past month. Could you tell us today whether you see any progress? Could you give guarantees to riders that there will be improvements, because it looks like nothing has changed over the past month? I know that the public wants to know, and they want an improved service, and they want it to be done quickly, immediately even. But we're working on short-term steps to allow a full service return. We're working on long-term measures as well to ensure the safety of operations in the long term. We want to have an idea of the root cause and come up with a permanent solution. We're working on all that at the same time. I can't guarantee that there will be a full return to service anytime soon, because our priority is always, our focus is always service safety. Sabrina, could you give him more information on this? Yes, I can. There's been a lot of progress, but it's difficult to see it, perhaps. That we're having many meetings with experts here, those from France, Germany, and other places around the world. We have a lot of technical documentation, hundreds of pages that we have to review, that the engineering director has to review, for example. It's very difficult to show the public that we're making progress, but we're working on this day in, day out. So we had 3 meetings just today, in fact, on this topic. So there is progress, but sometimes when you're trying hard to improve the service, it doesn't look like it. There are times when we have to take our time. We have to be diligent so that we can make sure that we're taking the right decisions. Thank you very much, Sabrina. Second question. Well, I understand that the process is long, lots of meetings involved, but for ordinary people, could you tell us what progress you've made over the past month? Because it's not clear for people in Ottawa what's really improved over the past month. The same number of vehicles are available. In just a few words, what's really changed in concrete terms? Over the past month, we've received a lot of information that the city was waiting for. And when we took a decision, we were still waiting for information that we now have. We don't have all the information we need, but we have enough information for us to do an analysis. And we can bring in our experts to do the review. A month ago, we didn't have the opportunity to do that. So that's a step forward we've already made. Second thing that's improved now that we have that information, we can do the risk analysis. A month ago, we didn't have that information. We decided that any vehicle running over 100,000 kilometers will be withdrawn from service. Now we have additional information which will allow us to make perhaps a new decision. As Troy has just said, we have to do a lot of work. There's a lot of maintenance that's ongoing. We have to change the vehicles around in the yard every day. We know that people are not seeing an increasing number of vehicles on the tracks, but there's a lot of other work that has to be done, not only for the spalling
Merci
issue, but
beaucoup.
the regular maintenance. Thank you very much. You're welcome.
Next is Joanne Lashes at the Ottawa Citizen.
Hi, I was wondering if you could give us a little bit more of a timeline in terms of when you expect things are going to return a little bit closer to normal.
Obviously, Joanne, when it's speaking to yourself and our customers, we want it to happen as quickly as possible. On the bus side of things, we are seeing progress week in, week out with new buses, with our continued recruitment. We've also seen some positive steps with regards to our mechanic recruitment as well. And I know I didn't talk to that. But we want to see those improvements happen as quickly as possible. I know our customers want that. From the bus side of things, I think we're still going to be challenged a little bit for several more weeks. But what I've been targeting is slow but sustained and incremental improvements. And I expect that when we hit the early spring, that's when customers will really start to notice a difference in terms of the performance. And I hope some customers are already seeing that now. On the rail side of things, that's a little harder to predict. We've said that we need to make sure that the issue is properly monitored, addressed, contained until we have the final root cause and a permanent solution. So we're being very diligent in our approach and in working with our maintainer on that. So again, I'd like to say, it would be back. I'd like to put a date to it. I can't. But what my commitment is, and the whole team's commitment is to the public, is that the service that is running is safe. And when we do expand the service, increase the numbers of trains, it will continue to be safe. That's our guarantee. That's our focus is on that. And unfortunately, I just can't put a timeline to it. But we want to do this as quickly as possible. And as Ms. Pazian mentioned in French, we're having meetings every day, working with technical experts. We had 3 sessions already today with various people, and all that focus is on ensuring that the right documentation supports the containment measures and the process is moving forward so that we can safely return to full service, and that's our focus.
What would you tell transit users who are feeling very frustrated at this point?
I completely understand our customers' frustrations, and it's warranted at this point. But I also want to assure them that we're not gonna sacrifice safety for service, and we're working tirelessly 7 days a week to improve and get this back on to where it needs to be. We've got solid plans, solid actions, and it is literally all hands on deck. That's our focus. So I empathize and I apologize for the level of service that they're receiving. We've got good plans in place. It will improve, and we will sustain it too when it improves.
Et prochainement, Emmanuel Poisson, Radio-Canada.
Bonjour, merci de prendre ma
Hello,
question.
thank you for
Ma
answering my
question,
question.
c'est
My
de
first
savoir
question is
combien de temps, là, vous dites que vous avez
how
reçu des informations pour faire
how long
l'analyse
ago did you receive the information you
risque.
needed to do the risk
Combien de temps
analysis?
ça va prendre pour
How
faire
long will
vos
it take
analyses?
to
Est-ce que
do
vous
this
avez un
analysis
deadline?
as well?
Est-ce
Do you
que
have a
je
deadline?
comprends que vous voulez prendre le
I
temps de faire la
understand that you
chose, mais
want
est-ce
to
que vous
take
avez
the
des
time to
deadlines,
do
des
the job
certaines
properly,
limites pour
but
faire ça?
I think people are getting very frustrated and they want solutions. Sabrina, well, we really can't give you a timeline right now. We have to receive all the information, and we have to work with our experts to make sure that when we make the decision, that it's a safe decision. I know that's not an answer, but I can't tell you that it'll take 2 or 3 weeks. No. And then we have to revisit that. There's no point in doing that. We have to make sure that when we do the analysis, that there aren't other questions that remain unanswered when we review the documents. They're very technical in nature. We might have follow-up questions. That's possible. We want to make sure that we have the right information, that we do the analysis of the risk, and then we can look at what we can do after that. Thank you.
Ma deuxième question, c'est de savoir pour
Second question,
donc là, si j'ai bien compris au début
if
du
I've understood correctly, I missed a part of what you said in your opening statement. Do you expect more delays with trains and buses given the forecast for snow? Is that what you're saying? Could you repeat perhaps in French so we can fully understand what you said earlier? No, we're ready. We're ready for tonight's storm. But we know there will be delays, there'll be an impact on the bus service, that goes without saying. But in terms of the trains, we're ready. We don't think there'll be any issues.
Merci.
And
Thank
welcome
you.
back to Adam at CTV. You're able to.
Hi there. Am I coming through now?
Yes, you are.
Yes, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time today. I'm just wondering, speaking on the bus operators again, obviously you're looking to hire 374 this year, but I'm wondering, I guess, in terms of raw numbers, how many are in the fleet today, and is there a target needed to be fully operational, like with an additional 374 at the end of this year? Would that get you to the full number you're looking at, or will there be ongoing, recruitment after that?
Yeah, I'll provide a bit of an answer to this, and I know Sabrina's got some information on it too, because the training group, all our bus operators go through a rigorous training program, and she can probably elaborate a little bit upon this. But we want to hire 300. We want to onboard 374 operators, but all our operators have to go through and pass a training program in order to become an employee with the City of Ottawa and stay as a bus operator. So we have this rigorous process. So unfortunately, not everyone passes. It's a difficult job, and we have high standards for safety, security, and customer service. So that piece to it, but also recognizing that our bus operator pools, I mentioned it earlier, and I'm not sure if you caught what I said. We know that we've got the east extension coming up. We've got the west extension that we're planning for, and there's growth within the organization. And a lot of that comes from our bus operator workforce. So that's been factored into that number. So we factored in that there's going to be a certain number of operators that won't be successful in training. And then, we have certain other operators that will retire. And then we've got operators that will also go on to other opportunities within the organization that we need for frontline service delivery. So I know, Sabrina, you've got some, probably a little bit more information on how that impacts you and your unit. But it's a significant recruitment effort for our team. But we're up for the challenge.
Yeah, maybe just to add on to what Troy said, yes, the training team reports to me as well. And every bus operator who is onboarded, they have to go through, of course, regular City of Ottawa onboarding training, and then they go through a rigorous training program to become a bus operator. It's in accordance with the requirements set out by the Ministry of Transportation of Ontario, the MTO. And they have to follow lots of in-class, but also on-the-road driving, and then several driving assessments before they're able to drive in service. Then they have a portion with a mentor. So once that's completed and they're certified, then they're able to drive on their own. And I would say that the training never stops. So as we have either attrition from the training, new trainees, or as we take on new adventures through our organization as it continues to grow, and people move into different positions, be it fare inspector, supervisor, controllers, whatever the case may be, we will continue to hire and to train well into next year as well. Even after these, approximately 375 people have been hired this year.
Thank you.
Do you have a second question, Adam, or just the one?
No, that's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Oh. Sorry, I muted myself. Okay, that concludes our media availability for today. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Ceci conclut le point de presse aujourd'hui.
Merci. Thank you.